Okay, Derbyites, we're here to settle the mystery surrounding what will win those top Emmy categories for dramas. And we think we know. Chris Beachum, Daniel Montgomery, Marcus Dixon, and me, we all say that Game of Thrones is going to win Best Drama Series, and that would be a stretch because, frankly, shows with fantasy elements like Flying Dragons rarely win this award. The only exception really was 10 years ago when Lost won. Generally, they like their winners to be realistic, upscale shows like Mad Men and L.A. Law and The West Wing. But that said, Chris Beachum, we all think Game is going to do it. Why?
I just think the sheer number of nominations, it has double any other show, and it just feels like the right time. We've all talked about that fifth year, 24 won in its fifth year, and didn't Sopranos win in its fifth year?
Breaking Bad won in its fifth year.
Right.
And then it's fifth and a half.
I mean, there's nothing about that number, but it's not. Well, I guess what we're saying is it's not unusual for a show to be around for a while and then win. The biggest thing about all the drama categories is, the Emmy producers and the Academy folks have been talking about new blood. Well, you're going to have a lot of new blood in the drama categories because Breaking Bad is gone, and it won. It won writing last year, and it won series, and it won 3 acting awards. So all of those categories will have new winners this year.
Yes. Now, in the second place rankings that we all do, we all have Mad Men at number 2 because we could see the possibility of a farewell hug for a show that's deeply loved in Hollywood. But we know that if that were to happen, it would be unusual because it's not like Sopranos when it won for season 5, then it lost and won again for its final seasons. Throughout that whole patch, Sopranos was acclaimed and still beloved and hailed. Mad Men wasn't. There were, in those slumber years in between its first surge of winning 4 in a row and then this surge it's having now at the final end, there were some dark days in between. So it would be a real rally for it to happen. But yet it could happen. Failing that, then we're all over the place. I'm talking about our rankings here, where I have House of Cards at my third ranked positions. Chris has Homeland. Daniel has House of Cards with me, and Marcus has Better Call Saul. Daniel, you're right. And I'm right. House of Cards is so. I want you to articulate why we're right and they're idiots.
Well, I could make a case for them too, but where it stands for me is that House of Cards, the things that it lacks is the writing and directing categories. Those are the big ones. That was kind of a surprise that it didn't get either of those, which made me sort of want to drop it lower. But it did get 11 total nominations. It has more acting nominations than any other show. I think it has 5. So it's still well represented across the board. It's never won, and it's sexy and it's political and it has big A-list stars. And so I don't think, even though Better Call Saul has a writing nomination and so does and Homeland has a directing nomination, I don't think those shows are strong enough. I think they're done with Homeland. I think it's back with the nomination, but I don't think it's going to win drama series again. And Better Call Saul, it did better than I expected in the nominations, but I don't.
The party, let's face it.
It's lucky to be at the party, and maybe in a couple of seasons' time, it could be a drama series contender. But the first season didn't really have a lot of urgency story-wise. It wasn't. It was more like setup than it was payoff, like we saw when Breaking Bad won the last 2 years.
So, Chris, have we made you come to your senses? Homeland ain't win, baby.
Well, I think I was really thinking along the lines of what Daniel said about a directing or writing nomination. That's why I moved House of Cards down. But House of Cards really does fit the typical type of show they would reward here, way more than Game of Thrones. We talked about West Wing, a political show. It has elements of The Sopranos in that, the main character is an anti-hero. He's the president of the United States, but he's diabolical. I mean, he's just awful. So what would be really interesting, you know how you look back a few days later and you're like, boy, why did I see that coming? What if it's like a House of Cards Veep year, and we, winning the two, and we all look back and go, of course, why didn't we see that coming? Because it's such, with a presidential campaign on the horizon, and people, it's kind of in the forefront of their minds, that kind of a thing. So you may be right. I may move House of Cards up a notch, but I really do think the race is Game of Thrones or Mad Men.
So do the combined odds. If you look at the combined odds, the combined experts, editors, users, top 24, those two shows, Game of Thrones and Mad Men, are tied right now, which is really unusual because we had thousands of people predicting, and this is an even tie at 6-5 odds, which is 46% each, which means the other 5 shows are sharing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 percentage points. It's absolutely a lock for one of those two. It's just which one.
Well, it ain't gonna be Saul, your show at number 3.
Well, I can see a Mad Men upset. I mean, it can win. It does fit more the mold of what they like, but it's like we've said, it's not The Sopranos, it's not Breaking Bad, which I think both shows were either steady or on the rise throughout their run in terms of Emmy recognition. I think it's more like 30 Rock, where it won several years and then it sort of fell out of favor, and then the last season it won a couple. 30 Rock won writing for its last season, and I think Mad Men will win writing. I think most of us are predicting John Hamm for actor, but I don't think they're going to go back to it for series.
But sticking with Odenkirk for a minute here, Daniel, you have him in your second or third position, third position behind. We have John Hamm, all of us out front to win. And then we have our disagreements, and you're going with Odenkirk, and that's where you think he has a chance. And I agree with that. I think that he could. In the number 2 spot, Marcus and Chris have Kyle Chandler. And that, of course, is significant because the last time we thought John Hamm was out front, Kyle pulled through with that upset victory for Friday Night Lights. But I have Kevin Spacey in second place because I think this is where movie stars win. I mean, he's got 2 Oscars. I think he's got the cachet. He just won the Golden Globe. And even though there's not the writing and the directing nomination behind the series, I think that now with Bryan Cranston out of that category, he's been hogging it for a couple of years. I think it's Spacey's right to take it, but he's got a tough job getting it away from John Hamm because I think everyone in Hollywood is aware that Hamm's not won, and they want to give it to him. But I think he's vulnerable, and I think Spacey could do it. Now, Marcus, that said, why are you betting on – who do you have? You have Kyle as the spoiler possible there, right, Marcus?
Yeah, I have Spacey in 5th place because I actually watched all 6 episodes back to back. He submitted the Robin Wright episode.
I know.
Which is kind of crazy. So just strictly going on the episodes, I guess I'm not going on the episodes because I'm predicting John Hamm when the episode, if you look at the episodes, it's going to be Kyle Chandler. He's so amazing. You cannot take your eyes off of him in that episode. I don't want to say what happens in case people haven't seen it yet. But the only thing that's preventing me from actually predicting Chandler is the lack of support for Bloodline. And I think it only got 2 nominations, whereas Mad Men got 11. And you're right, everybody knows John Hamm's never won before. Just fellow celebrities that have nothing to do with Mad Men are tweeting, give John Hamm an Emmy. John Cryer, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and those are former Emmy winners themselves.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where I'm definitely betting on the new system trumping the episodes because if this were last year's, if the same lineup with these same episodes was competing in last year's race with last year's voting system, I'd have John Hamm ranked like 3rd. I mean,
his finale episode is powerful.
It's good, but I think on the episodes alone, I think Bob Odenkirk and Kyle Chandler overshadow him a little bit. John Hamm is sharing that finale with a lot of his co-stars whose storylines are closing out, and he does have some great, powerful moments. But Bob Odenkirk and Kyle Chandler are front and center throughout their episodes. They're big, they're emotional, they're showy. Bob Odenkirk would capitalize on some maybe bleed over from Bryan Cranston supporters who are now maybe Better Call Saul fans. So I really would not be surprised if Odenkirk or Chandler wins. We'll see that episode submissions they paid attention to them, even though it was a lot more people voting this year.
That's true.
It ain't happening.
I thought John Hamm's episode was great. I mean,
I did too.
it opens on him, it closes on him. Tom's old theory about a huggability factor. When has Don Draper ever been huggable? And he actually gives a guy a hug in the episode.
That's after the other guy gives a speech. He's not like it's not John Hamm reacts
and just is crying his eyes out about how he's not the man that everybody thinks he is. I mean, it's a good submission.
Oh, it's good. I'm not saying it's not a good episode.
I'm also hesitant, as we all are, about predicting any Mad Men actor to win after all these years. But I don't see the scenario among the other five where they just would grab it. Even when Kyle Chandler beat John Hamm, that was Friday Night Lights last episode as well, and it was up for drama series. Here, Bloodline, like Marcus mentioned, it has no support really.
But Better Call Saul has a lot. That's why I have Odenkirk.
It has a little.
It got in for drama series, supporting actor. It got in for writing. It got in for editing. They like it. I mean, it's not the little show.
But they also know they've got years of this show to come.
And don't count out Jeff Daniels. He beat John Hamm too, and he submitted the finale, which is a callback to the big speech he gave. We even see that speech again.
When he gets to sing and play guitar at the end, again, there's another show with no support.
But if episodes matter, it's a powerful episode and a great finale. And I think all of us are of the mind that episodes don't matter as much as they used to. So other factors will be at play here. So
that's what we're all trying to figure out. I don't think any of us are in the camp of episodes are everything, like they were for some people in some seasons. And I don't think we're totally on board with a popular vote idea. So when somebody's got both, though, like John Hamm, it really feels like that's going to happen. He's got the popular sentiment, and I think he's got the episode to back it up. So that's why I think he finally will get that. What I hate, though, if he doesn't show up for the creative arts and he wins there and that's his first Emmy, that's going to be really like anticlimactic the next week.
I kind of want him to lose just for that reason, because I want his first Emmy. I don't know if this is kind of the evil part of me. I want the first Emmy to be for Mad Men, so I want him to lose for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
You bastard.
Well, I mean, that's the sort of thing where, I mean, you don't want to wish that on. Like, he's got a chance at an Emmy. Let him get that Emmy, potentially.
Thank you.
I'm not predicting him for Kimmy Schmidt.
Marcus, a few lessons of humility here.
John Hamm needs to do something that's a juried award, because they're just giving those out left and right.
All right, Best Drama Actress here. This is where we do disagree, and this is where Chris has not only gone on a limb, he's dangling off the limb. He's choking himself with this. He's gagging on the ridiculous idea that Robin Wright is going to win this award. She is not going to win this award. But before I shatter your preposterous prediction here, Chris, give it to us, prop it up for us so we can take proper aim.
Well, I still may change. I move people around, all the way up to the ceremony. Again, I think she's a popular actress, and she's got the episode to back it up. It's the episode for weeks we were saying if she submits that, she's a threat. It's the Russian prison episode. And what do Emmy voters love more than anything in a dramatic performance other than defiance? Defiance. And she goes against her own husband, the president, and the Russian president at the end, no matter what the outcome may be. And I just think, look, I would love Viola to win. I would love Taraji to win. It almost feels like we used to call them hope dictions in the forums. Just people that you are so behind that you want them to win so much that you can't see that there are other options. And I just don't know. Viola and Taraji's shows, again, they don't have the support across the board. I don't know if people in the Academy are even watching those shows, but maybe they are on House of Cards. So I don't know. I may still change my mind, but I really like the fact that Robin's defiance in her episode.
They watch the episodes, and I
If
don't.
they watch, that's right. That's right.
And
Viola Davis won.
Watch because they may watch Kevin's, and of course he submitted the same thing. What's that, Marcus?
Viola Davis won this award a year ago when she was announced as the new lead of a Shondaland show, an Oscar winner, just like an Oscar nominee, just like Glenn Close.
Two-time nominee.
Dropping down to TV as a lawyer, as a passionate lawyer, like a James Spader type. I mean, it's check mark.
But Damages was up for Best Drama Series.
It's true, but I don't.
Watching the show.
But I mean, we saw Viola. Viola can be popular on her own. I don't think she necessarily needs it. I'm not saying she's a lock, but she won SAG. The show didn't have any other nominations there, and which was a popular vote of the entire acting community, the Screen Actors Guild. So we know the acting community likes her. We know the industry likes her. So she already has that element. And like you said with Robin Wright, she has the episode to back it up. She also is defiant. She's doing the James Spader thing where she is speaking truth to power and going on this grand tirade in court. Having that the cachet of being a double Oscar nominee. Shonda Rhimes' shows have done well in acting categories, though it hasn't won a lead category yet. And having the episode to back it up, I'm giving her the edge. I mean, I could definitely see Robin Wright winning. I can even see Tatiana Maslany winning it, depending on how much the episodes matter. Because boy, did Tatiana Maslany submit a good episode.
No. What?
Tatiana Maslany, right before her episode was announced, right before we announced it on Gold Derby, I read on Gold Derby that she submitted that episode. I was catching up on the season. I had just watched that episode and thought to myself, oh, if she submits that one, she could win.
Yeah, but you watched several episodes. I saw more people in the forums once they started watching things go. People especially that would say, I don't normally watch this, so I watched it and I don't know what was going on, and I think that would be a typical voter.
I agree. If I was a voter, I would have turned that thing off after 5 minutes because it was so confusing.
Oh, it's confusing as a regular viewer. I barely understood what was going on, but I was focused on how they maneuvered it in that episode so that she's playing 6 of her characters. And even one that died in the pilot. So she's doing multiple accents, she's doing multiple scenarios, she's doing some action, she's doing some emotional stuff, she's doing scenes with herself. I'm not predicting her to win because, again, there's not a lot of support for the show overall. But she had enough popular support to get in. I mean, getting the nomination is a popular vote. So I wouldn't count her out. I think her episode was really, really good once you isolate the acting of it from whatever issues have been with the writing over the last couple of seasons. So I think I have her ranked 2nd or 3rd, and I think I might have Robin Wright 4th. I'll move her up into my top 3.
Well, I think Taraji's in this race. I think that with the popular vote the way it is now, that these trashy actresses get a chance that they didn't really have before under the old system, where maybe 70 people chose the winner after looking at episodes on DVDs. Now you've got the 1,000+ members of the actors branch, maybe or maybe not watching episodes, and she's the cool cat of the year. She was the breakout star, and of course a past Oscar nominee for Benjamin Button. So my actual prediction is Robin. It's not Robin, right? It's Viola. But I could really see Taraji breaking through here. Am I alone here?
I think she's got a shot. I think I'll right now, I don't remember where exactly I have her rank, but now I'm thinking of her in 4th, but it's not a distant 4th. I think those top 4 are all in it with a shot. But I really feel the show needed to perform better. I mean, that's the kind of show that is so unlike what the Academy usually likes, and they had 7 slots for Best Drama Series. It was the big story for broadcast network television, the rating success it had. And it has cachet. It has Oscar nominee Lee Daniels behind it, and Taraji is an Oscar nominee. Terrence Howard is an Oscar nominee. So all of that should have gotten it into Best Drama Series with 7 slots. But it didn't get in there, and it didn't get in anywhere else except for costume design, even original songs. So it seems like they don't really love it, and that makes me worried for Taraji.
With the
Final thoughts here, boys?
Yeah, I was just going to say, with a popular vote, though, of all the shows in this category, it's probably the one just most viewed. Period. Let's say. So I mean, an episode I don't think matters nearly as much if people are just viewing it on a week-to-week basis. So if they just love that character and love Taraji herself, then and remember, she's a former Oscar nominee. And a former Emmy nominee. So, she's a breakout this year. Even though she's had a long career, she's a breakout.
And in terms of stars who emit defiance, which is what the Emmy voters love, Cookie is always defiant. I mean, she's always throwing a diva snit on that show. That's why we love her, baby.
Well, and also remember, I don't know what I was going to say. Beyond the we always talk about the apple in the barrel of oranges or whatever. I mean, think about the emoting and dramatic weight of these other 5 actresses in their episodes. She's going to look totally different from those 5. With the comedic, take and just the more, expressive kind of character.
Well, as you can tell, I'm dozing off here. This has been such a lively slugfest. I've laid down. Time for my nap here in between my busy screening schedule at the Toronto Film Festival. But it was good. It was good that we caught up. We got a couple of slugfests out of the way. We'll do more before Emmy weekend. So thanks everybody for watching.